Hi there, Kristen with you again. And today we're going to do a couple of fun crafts that have to do with the story of Lazarus and how Jesus brought Lazarus back to life from the dead. It's a really fun story. It's a remarkable foreshadowing of Jesus raising him from the dead, and it lends itself to a lot of neat games and activities and, of course, crafts. So we're going to do a couple of crafts today that have to do with Lazarus, and we're going to make a couple of mummy in the tomb themed items. So the first one that we're going to do is going to be a Lazarus coming out of the tomb from under a rock. So what you'll need, several household items that hopefully you have on hand. You're going to need an empty, this is not quite a toilet paper tube, but you can use an empty toilet paper tube, or you can use an empty paper towel tube cut in a smaller piece, or you can just use a popsicle stick, or just something that's kind of small and wrappable. And if you're in the great toilet paper crisis of 2020, which we are currently experiencing, you probably have a lot of empty toilet paper tubes lying around. Maybe not so many full ones, which is a game we're not going to play in the Lazarus lesson. Usually we do the whole toilet paper mummy wrapping thing. Oh no, we're not doing that right now. Anyways, so you're going to have your toilet paper or whatever kind of tube, some sort of a cup, like a styrofoam cup or even a big plastic Solo cup. You're going to need something for your wrapping. Now this can be a variety of materials. You can use felt, you can use paper, you can use toilet paper if you dare to spare it. You can use pipe cleaners, you can use coffee filters, you can use tissue paper, you can use tissues, whatever you want to use to wrap your Lazarus. So you're going to start out, you can decorate him a little bit. Maybe you want to give him like a little face, or if you have the materials on hand and you want to get extra fun, you could give him a couple of little eyeballs, and you'll decorate your little Lazarus. And then you're going to use your glue, which tape would probably work as well. If you do use glue, I would recommend for this one, depending on what you're wrapping with, I would probably recommend using Elmer's or the liquidy kind of glue rather than a glue stick, just because it will work a little better. And so you're going to, my Lazarus has come out of the tomb, so he's going to be happy, and we're going to give him a little happy face. Yay! Jesus saved me. Okay, so you're going to put some glue around your Lazarus so you can prepare him to be mummified and wrapped. And then again, you will take whatever kind of materials you like. You can cut some paper into strips. You can cut some cloth into strips. You can use those tissue papers or tissues or toilet paper. And you're just going to wrap him up like a little mummy. And hey, this could double as a fun craft for Halloween time if you want to make a little mummy for Halloween. And you're just gonna wrap them up, and then you will take your cup, next step of this craft. You'll take your cup and you will be making your cup into his tomb. So that's why I mentioned if you use a paper towel tube, you might want to cut it to shorten it a little bit, because he's going to need to fit inside the tomb. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to fit all the way inside if you want him to be coming out of the tomb, but you're going to have your cup and you're going to just decorate it to look like a rock. So maybe you want to put some paper on here as well. Maybe you just want to give it some fun colors. Make it gray, make it round, make it black, make it rocky. You could even cut little pieces of paper and glue them to the outside like they're little stones. I mean, if you're trying to kill time, you can get as elaborate and as fun as you'd like to. And then we're going to cut a little piece so we can cut the opening to the tomb, like you're removing the rock. So we're going to cut a flap of the cup, but not cut it completely out. Leave a little bit hanging so you can open and shut it. So you can kind of just cut, depends how big you want your rock to be. You can make it big, you can make it small. But we're just gonna cut a part of it, so you can't quite tell. And then you're going to open it up. Now, styrofoam does break, so be careful when you're bending it. Or maybe you cut it all the way out. That's easy enough to fix with a little tape or a staple. So you have your rock, and then what we're going to do, your tomb, we're going to put Lazarus inside of the tomb. And so we have Lazarus waiting in the tomb. And then, hey, if you want to make it elaborate and make a whole puppet show, you can make another one of these to be Jesus. And here comes Jesus. Lazarus, come out of the tomb. And then, woo, here comes Lazarus coming out of the tomb. Yay! So there is your Lazarus coming out of the tomb, in whichever way you choose to do it. Next, we're going to make a Lazarus mask. So for this, you're going to need paper plate. Again, you're going to need some kind of markers or fun decorating supplies. You're going to need something to cover this with. Again, you can use tissue paper, you can use cloth. If you have a white paper plate, it might make a nice contrast if your color is something not white. But you know, if you just want to go linen, do whatever you want to do. And then if you want to really be able to hold it up, you might need a popsicle stick to throw in the back. Some sort of adhesive material will also be useful. Once again, glue, or for this, I actually, if you have staples on hand, I would really recommend staples because they just happen to help it stick a little bit better, especially if you don't want to have to wait, because the only thing with glue is you have to wait for it to dry before you really have your final product usable. So you can use staples or tape as well. And we're going to make a mask. So you're going to, one side of the mask is going to be the tomb, the rock. The other side is going to be the Lazarus who comes to life, and you can pretend like you're Lazarus. So you're going to need to cut a couple of little eye slits out so that when it's a mask, you can actually see out of the mask. And I mean, if you don't want it to be a mask you can see out of, you don't necessarily have to cut the eye slits out. That's up to you. So you're going to carefully cut a couple of little eye holes out. Obviously, these are not perfect. Then you're going to decorate one side of the mask as the rock. So you're going to take your markers again, and you're going to, you can use crayons or colored pencils as well. You're going to color it. You're going to do your thing. La, 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 la. Make it into a rock. The other side, you're going to cover in strips and make your Lazarus. So again, if you've got your cloth strips, this is where, yes, you can use glue, or you can use the handy dandy stapler and staple these across your plate. And then you're going to do that with multiple strips or tissues or however you'd like to use it. And then to cover up those eye holes for it to be a rock, because your rock doesn't need to have eyes, we're going to make a little caption. So you can write a verse on here. You can write a phrase. You can write however you want to do it. And then you're going to tape that to the rocky side and leave a flap so that when it's a mask, you can just peel that tape off. So elapsed time, let me show you what the final product could look like. You've got your rocky side, which I just decorated as a rock. Again, you can get more elaborate. And this says, oops, this says that's the wrong side. Even when things are rocky, and then we flip it over, and then we have our Lazarus mask, which if you want to put a mouth or decorate it more, you certainly could. But the other side, when you flip it, it says, God is at work. So even when things are rocky or rough, God is at work. That's what we're remembering when we talk about the Lazarus story, that we don't always understand what's happening in our lives and things can be challenging, but God is still at work. So you have your Lazarus mask, and you have your fun little Lazarus coming out of the tomb rock. And again, get creative. Do whatever you want to do. You want to use a plastic spoon to make Lazarus? Awesome. You want to make all the characters and act out the whole story with little mini puppets? Fantastic. You want to make a little string Lazarus and pull him out of the tube? get creative and have fun with it. You can make paper bag puppets. You can make, there's always all sorts of variations that you can do with this, but make it your own, use what you have, do what you want, have fun, and enjoy learning about the amazing miracles of Christ. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.